It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. Today's guest is Jamie Powell, and we are brought to you by the Red, White, and Blue, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Get your pen. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins, and we're talking with Jamie Popwell. And I said it wrong to start with, but he's with Flags for Veterans, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, about flags and other things. Welcome to the show,
Thank
Jamie.
you, Ken. Appreciate it. Honored to be here.
A little background on you. You're not from this area, but you are from Alabama.
I am born and raised in Opelika.
Opelika.
That's where I live. Now, we live in Auburn now.
Okay. A lot of history about Opelika with General, was the general that was going to put the tank over there and blow the, no, that's Phoenix City. You remember the story about him?
Vaguely, yes, sir.
General Patton.
Patton.
Yeah, he put a tank down there because some GIs was in jail, and he said, if you don't release them, I'll blow the city hall with my just soldiers off. He got that story there. He got that mixed up with Phoenix City. But you was in the Marine Corps?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
When was that?
I enlisted, I enlisted my senior year in high school, which was 1982. And 3 days after my 18th birthday was September 8th, I was on the Yellow Footprints of Parris Island.
Why did you enlist?
A couple of reasons. My father and mother at the time, they didn't have money for me to go to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I knew that I needed to do something, maybe to put some money back for college when I decided what I wanted to do, and Marine Corps was the option for me. I stood in front of a recruiting station that had all 4 branches of service, and I scanned all 4 of them, and I said, well, I think I need to go to Marine Corps.
Yeah, but see, and I was in the Army, and I'm sitting there saying, if I want to get me an education, there's the Navy, I get to sail the seas. There's the Air Force, I can fly the blue clouds, but Marine Corps, I can eat some mud, and I can, you get my drift as when I ask you, why do you join the Marine?
Well, I had a really good recruiter. He told me
he had to be.
Anything I wanted to do with my life. And but I was blessed to do some really cool things when I was in the Marine Corps. I was an 0311 and went in open contract, but I ended up spending most of my time up at Camp David. Spent about a year and a half up there under President Reagan. So I had some, like I said, from a small town in Opelika, country boy that ended up under arguably the best president we've ever had.
Absolutely. I'm in awe of that. I just love me some Reagan, and then to Camp David, that's I need to put on my bucket list. I've never been there, and I probably never could go there. They wouldn't let me in.
Pretty inconspicuous. You'd never know it when going past it.
Well, what was you doing there?
It's part of the security company there.
Oh, you was providing security.
Part of the security for the camp. Yes, sir.
Wow, that is awesome. I'm impressed with that. But with the Marine Corps, the people out here think it's just all grunts and all guns and glory and things, but there is another side to the Marine Corps that's high tech and that kind of thing, and I applaud you for doing that. I just I had a brother that's in the Marines, and we made fun of him. They was easy to make fun of. And every Marine I've had on here, I always tell the story that the Navy would get lonesome on those long cruises, so they had to have somebody to dance with. And so I know you're not going to hit me while we're on camera because you got evidence, but I always got away with it, so hopefully I'll get away with it today. But I do appreciate that. Now, this Flags for Veterans. Is this a private company, or is this a part of an organization? What is it about, Flags for Vets?
Flags for Vets is a nonprofit. We're a full-fledged 501c3. We are bound by board of directors, and it's a very small nonprofit, and it was formed back in March of this year.
Where's it out of? Where's the headquarters?
We're based out of Auburn.
Okay.
Right down the road. Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's not a national organization.
My vision is for it to be national, and sometimes I have to pull back on the reins a little bit because I want it to be national a lot quicker than it possibly could be, mostly because of funding. But that is my vision, is to have chapters of this all over the country, to be able to do what I'm doing now, which is putting flagpoles up for veterans to thank them for their service.
I can't think of anything more awesome. Off camera out the green room, I was talking with you about the flagpole I used to have, and I was so proud of that. And the problem with mine, it was just too big for a residential area. But somebody said Well, yesterday my brother was talking over the radio station up in Nashville about to the disc jockey about the kneeling of the Titans. He said, my brother said, I've got season tickets. I'm not ever going to a game as long as this kneeling is going on. And the guy came back and says, now this is the disc jockey. He said, I think these veterans are doing too much for veterans. You know, that just making too much about these veterans. And this is the day after Veterans Day.
Right.
And that's like you got too much money, too much love. I mean, he's doing too much for veterans, but there are people out there that feel that way. So you're countering that by the flags that you're putting out there.
Right.
And they can say what they want to, and I'll let you chime in on that. That the protesting that's going on is about the flag. It can be about all these other things, but if it's not about the flag, then why are they doing it during the national anthem? All the other times they can do it, and that's my take on that.
Well, Flags for Vets was born for several different reasons, but I do want to speak about one in particular, and it relates to what they're doing now, the protest for the flag. If you'll remember back last year, maybe even a couple of years before that, there was this craze, this sensation. There were these dares or whatever for people doing things to our flag, desecrating them, stepping on them, any number of things.
Yeah.
And when I began this, part of that was to counter all that negativity and everything that you see on social media and really even sensationalized in media outlets. People getting the coverage of doing something so stupid and hiding behind that First Amendment right, which is, I get that part. We served, we understand exactly what that First Amendment is, but don't hide behind that because that's not what it's about.
Thank you.
So Flags for Vets was born to kind of counter that, to give a positive light to something that means so much to people like you and I, and really a lot more citizens than we think. But this was just my way for every negative thing that went out there, I wanted to put a flag up to kind of counter that.
You hit the nail on the head. The flag means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. We got a young lady here that lost her husband in Afghanistan. I don't mind saying Brooke Comfort lost Captain Kyle Comfort. That flag means something a whole lot different to her than it does to people's got flying in the yard. For me, going to Dover, Delaware, picking up the remains of a fallen soldier, taking those remains to Florida or South Carolina, wherever the home was, and bury him and go back and get another. It's flag draped coffin. That flag means to present that a funeral folded flag to a parent. That's all they got left of that person. They'll clutch that flag.
Yes, sir.
And how dare you? How dare you? If I ever get in trouble, you read about it. It'll be about somebody that
you and me both
desecrated the flag, and
yes,
because it's so important. Because I say if you're going to protest, find other things to do. And I remember those dares things, and I saw that, and I saw some of them, and I saw some veterans get in trouble, coming there jerking
burning
around
the flag and stepping on the flag.
Yeah. And you said it's a 501c3, so you definitely don't get this material for these flags for free, so you have to purchase it, and that is done through donations.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, and we've got the information on here on the set as to how people can donate, but that's how the flags get there, and somebody tells somebody to tell somebody to get to you, and go on the website, and that website would be I can't even see mine here. What
it's www.flagsforvets.us.
Yeah, I run out of colored ink and I can't see it. So, but anyhow, that's the website. They can see it here. That go on the website and help them out. And see, let's say that somebody in this viewing area has a veteran that lives next door to him that wants to give him a flag or her. And they contact this website, you'll get the flag and install it?
Yes, sir, I do. There's several ways you can get in touch with me. One, of course, is the website itself. It has an email address at the bottom of it. You can follow me on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and on Twitter, and anybody can reach out to us through any of those outlets.
Or they can call you at 817-757-0691.
That's correct.
757-0691. Before we go to a commercial and then we come back, we're going to talk more with Jamie about flags. We'll be right back. Get your pen. Welcome back to Veterans Issue. We're talking with Jamie Popwell, and we are talking about flags for vets. And when we left, we was talking about how the people could get the flags, and if they wanted to get one for the neighbor or whatever. And I can't think of a better gift that someone could get. Let me ask you this before. I want you to show some of the stuff that you got here. And I don't mean stuff, but merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the places that you have placed these flags installed?
Well, we've so far we've visited 14 states here in the U.S. this year. This was formed on the 27th of January, is when we did our first installation, which is a gentleman named Ralph Powell, who was a Vietnam veteran that lived locally in Beulah, right outside of Auburn, Opelika area. But it's carried us to as far west and north as Boise, Idaho, and Emmett, Idaho, and as far north as Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We've been to Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Kansas, Kentucky, Ohio, and then all the states that border Alabama. I'm sure I've missed a couple there somewhere, but if it's outside the 4-state area that touches Alabama, we get on a plane and fly. And by that, usually when I say we, it's me, myself, and I. But I do have a couple of people that help me out that have been there with me since the beginning of it. People like Brantley Cargill and Todd Rauch, both of them are veterans themselves. One's a Navy vet, and the other's an Army vet. So, but yeah, we've gone all over the country, and that's why I said at some point I want this to be chapters so that I don't have to get on a plane as much as I would love to see all these veterans.
I see people that go to the Walmarts and places and get the little flag put on the front of their house, but you do more than that. You put the metal flag in the ground, 20 foot. Is that what the average is? About 20
Yes,
foot.
That's correct.
With a little ball on top of it and everything, and put the flag on it too. Do you
Right.
install
A kit, as it's called, is a flagpole, a 3x5 stitched nylon flag, and I actually even put a solar light on the flagpole itself so that it can be lit at night. When I started this, I wanted to make sure I did it right, and knowing flag etiquette and what is permissible and what is not permissible, and when flying the flag, it's important that people know that if you're going to fly it 24 hours a day, that it is lit at night, that it doesn't have to have a bright light, but it has to be lit.
It can't be street light. It's got to be light
Correct.
directed at the flag.
Yes, sir.
I didn't, and it's solar
Yes, sir.
light.
Solar light, yes, sir.
Wow, I didn't know what you're doing about that, but that's and you said 14 states, and you just get on your own. You go out there, and I was thinking when you're saying that South Dakota, the dirt out there would be a little bit different than the dirt in Kentucky. And I would say, just guessing, probably the hardest dirt to dig in was Alabama.
You know, you would think so, but Arizona has some pretty
Does it?
has some pretty hard
I
dirt
was
too.
thinking sandy.
It seems like I'm gonna my second profession should have been a geologist, just with all the dirt.
You got a little
I've seen.
auger.
I do. Well, if it's somewhere where I can pull the trailer, then yes, I have a single man auger. When I go to other states, depending on where I'm at and the time of the year, I'll go to Home Depot and rent an auger if I need to. But most times I just use a set of post hole diggers.
I got a pair with just one handle in them. I saw you outside there for the folks that just watching. Let's see some of the stuff that you've got here. What you brought.
We've got a couple of things. We have a challenge coin, and I know those of us that serve challenge coins are huge.
Absolutely,
it means the world to me to be able to give these out. But that's a challenge coin. That's what one side has. The other side is the Flags for Vets emblem.
Oh, that's
but
beautiful.
What's important to me about this challenge coin is, and part of my mission and where I feel like I'm led by, I feel like the Lord's leading me to do this, is that I go by Isaiah 6:8, the Bible verse, and the Lord said, who will go for me? Who shall I send? And I said, here am I, send me, Lord. So this is kind of, for me, this is my way of doing that.
Wow.
Also, we have we've got hats, we've got T-shirts. This is our Red Friday T-shirt, remembering everyone deployed on the back. So this, for me, is another way of us getting out to the members of the military and the family members of the military.
They can get these through the website.
Yes, sir. We have a separate website for the merchandise. It's shopflagsforvets.com. But we do sell this. All of the merchandise goes towards the material cost for the installations if I don't have a donor or a sponsor for a particular veteran.
Okay, so what you're really looking for is if someone wants a flag installed, you're hoping that there's been a donor that will pick up the tab for the materials, that you do the labor and
Correct.
All that's for free. Your travel and all that.
Yes, sir. Some veterans are sponsored by loved ones and family members. Some veterans don't have the money to do it. They're nominated by other people that they don't even know they're getting a flagpole. So I'll marry up a sponsor or a donor with that particular veteran. And we've had anonymous donors come in. I just recently had an anonymous donor that donated enough money for me to do 8 veterans. So that's extremely helpful. We've applied for and received a couple of small grants. And one of them is from the Daniel Foundation here in Alabama that helps me on the operating costs and material costs to fund veterans through the end of this year and hopefully into the first part of next year.
Guess what? This is November. We're coming up on Christmas. What better Christmas present could somebody give their daddy, their uncle, their brother, or someone just got back from Afghanistan, Iraq, than to have their own flagpole out front?
That's right.
If there's a spouse out there looking for the perfect gift for somebody that just returned, if there's someone out there that's got a grandpa that's maybe a little bit of shut in, can't get around, but if you can put him a flag where he can look out the window and see it.
That's right.
Can you name a better present than that?
I personally can't. No.
I know what you mean. I'm serious about it. Now, you've given some, or installed some for some Medal of Honor recipients.
That's correct.
Am I correct there?
Yes, sir. As of this past Saturday, I think was the last one we completed. 161 total veterans just this year, since January 27th.
161 Medal of Honor.
161 veterans across the country.
I don't have any medal.
8 of those have been Medal of Honor recipients. And of those 8, 2 of those are World War II recipients. There's only 4 left alive.
How about they in Alabama?
Well, there's 3 that are in Alabama now. One I've gifted so far is Command Sergeant Major Benny Adkins that lives in Opelika. We have 2 other recipients. Alabama is one of the few states, if not the only state, that has 3 living recipients now, with the 3rd one being Captain Rose, who was just had
Yeah,
about a week and a half
I
ago.
got an award for him the other day. He's one of the Vietnam veterans, and we gave him an award up in Huntsville. And I had some notes here. I want to make sure I cover everything because we're going to run out of time here. What does the cost? Does it cost you to put, your cost of a flag for a 20-foot flagpole? Well,
the material costs are relatively inexpensive, all things considered, for a flagpole, a flag, and a solar light. That runs me
$350.
Well, I can get those a lot more reasonable than that through a partnership with Valley Forge Flag Company. And the material costs run me about $150. Now that does not include the operating costs, the fuel to go to these installations, and if I have to stay overnight, the hotel stays and things that come with that a lot of people don't realize. And I try to cover and absorb as much of those costs as I can, so I don't pass those costs on to a particular donor. Yeah. So if as long as they'll pay for the materials, I find the donations or the sponsorships to cover the rest through the grants, such as the.
Well, we got less than a minute. I want to make sure that we that everybody know that it's coming up on Christmas, and you could probably get some here in Alabama installed before Christmas, could you not?
I'm going to try to. I've got a pretty heavy schedule right now. I've got close to 60 on the waiting list already, all across the country. Yes, sir, 60. So, but I can do about 3 or 4 a day. I only do these on weekends right now. So my weekends are fast booking up on me between now and the end of the year.
I admire you for what you're doing, man. And I hope that people out there will respond and get us some funds in here to help them continue the mission, because it's an awesome patriotic mission. And we got to go to a break. Come back. I got news that you can use. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. I do appreciate Jamie coming in and doing the show today, Flags for Vets. Please take us up on that and help out. And it being a 501c3, you're getting ready to do your taxes. This is a great way to contribute to something that's really going to have a direct effect to people that you know. And you want to help somebody, a veteran next door, a veteran in your family, a loved one. What better way than to donate something that you can deduct on your taxes like that? The VA hotline, I got to tell you this. That's why I say get this pen. Write this number down: 855-948-2311. VA hotline, 855-948-2311. And if you know a veteran that's in need, that's the one at the White House. The other number is 1-800-273-8255, and when the voice comes on, press 1. That's for the crisis line if someone's thinking of harming themselves, that kind of thing. We're losing 22 veterans a day, and you need to have that number handy if you know somebody that's hurting, somebody that's acting out of the norm, and then you want to give them that number. The Veterans Day ceremony we just had here in the park was awesome, and we had beautiful music, and we had a great attendance, and the parade was excellent. Had a great success there down Noble Street. Here's a website I want you to remember. It's Wounded Warriors Alabama. Wounded Warriors Alabama at gmail.com. Wounded Warriors Alabama at gmail.com. Phone number is 256-458-2715. That's not the Wounded Warriors, the national organization. This is one set up by Ross Winter locally, and they are doing some awesome things. If I have a veteran that says power has been cut off, they help them. I got a veteran that needs a ramp built for his wheelchair, they help them. Anything veterans, this guy, Ross Winter, is a veteran. He's Special Forces, I forget all that stuff. But, well, he used to jump out of planes too, so I forget that too. But he does great stuff, and it's his money, and he believes in putting his money where his mouth is. And so if you got no veteran out there in need, and especially around Christmas time here, there may be one out there, so you call that number I just gave you. And the clinic wants to remind you about the flu is here. It's kicking butt. And washing the hands is the best thing they can tell you. Wash your hands and hum a verse of Old MacDonald, and that's what they say. And I don't know how good you are at singing. It's not like karaoke, but in your mind sing Old MacDonald. That's how long you should wash your hands. And I always tell you that when you pick up one of those shopping carts, you put your hands on it and it's warm. You know somebody's been on there like this. And so just think about that too. The Firefighters Memorial is almost finished, folks. It's the official Firefighters Memorial for the state of Alabama in Centennial Memorial Park. We got the berm and the concrete up. We just got to get the granite with the names on it, and it will be finished. And I'll let you know when we're going to have the dedication of that. If you got a wheelchair out there, a power chair that has good batteries, I got veterans that need them. They're not eligible for them through any kind of program, but they need them to go up and down the street and go to their mailbox and get their mail, give them a little freedom in their life. So if you've got a wheelchair that no one needs anymore, give me a call. I'll take care of that. When it comes time to get your tag, think about the law enforcement tag. Anyone can get that tag. You don't have to be in law enforcement, but the revenue from that tag goes to build these memorials that we're talking about. And so think about getting that tag when you get ready to renew your tag or purchase another one. It goes with every vehicle. So let's see. I want to make sure that we get everything in here this week that I'm supposed to. This week's salute. I'm gonna make this salute. It's gonna go out to everybody that participated and made that parade what it was, and everybody that helped me during the ceremony. We'll see you next week here on Veterans Issues. Salute.